What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys held into the market yesterday. Today we got a little bit of a kind of interesting, scary pullback, but we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Anna. Good morning. Bill, Sydney, Jay, Jeff, Joe, JT, Kevin, rocking with us. Good morning to Shane. We got Tim Thurman. Did he make it to Tennessee? Good morning to you. We got Win. Good morning. Good morning to David Cook Speaks out in YouTube land. All my other lurkers in that back of YouTube. That's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like and subscribe button. Tim says, "Oh yeah, are you visiting Jeremy down there?" I say down there to everything, so I don't know. Maybe over there, up there. For me, I just go yeah, just down there. But yeah, we got a little bit of a pullback. I mean, yesterday's close was decent. We kind of just still hung into the range that we needed to. So not bad on that one. Which we had the range we wanted to really hold about 528.90. Cleveland. And then we got 530.89 to the high side that we had to try to break. Pretty unsuccessful with both. Not able to get through. We did get through. But we closed right in that range, so nothing too alarming from yesterday's really move. Today's gap down a little bit of little scarier. So we had the number one, we got past all that, so we dropped below all that range that we had on the SPY to kind of needed to hold it up. Now this looks like, and let's go through the. I don't know how much news there is out in the market today. But if you guys got tickers, throw those out there. But here's the range. Just kind of draw it out, just so that if you're not familiar too much with the VPOX, which I use pretty much every day. All right, so there's the range. We still have this kind of essentially blow off top ish, right? Nice gap up, horrific looking close, getting kind of scary. I remember that day like it was 2 days ago. The VPOC is down here, right? So we shifted the volume down, and this looks more like just some kind of a retest into this, and then that could happen, right? So this is, we don't know. There's no such thing as bullish volume, bearish volume. It's just high levels of volume, and then you could obviously tell which way that they're kind of pushing it. So most of the volume, they did push it here on this date underneath. This now becomes the retest, and then this is looking a little bit more doable on the screen. So got to be a little concerned. We got PCE on Friday. We'll see if the market, if PCE wants to save the market or not. And then we also have, depends on where we open. We still got a lot of time, 25 minutes, but we're actually opening under there, so we're not even holding that spot. If we could get above there at open, okay, we still have the case that we probably actually have some good risk to reward if we're going to go long on something. I would probably put a stop here, entry somewhere up here, and okay, great. Targets over here somewhere. All right, we got the risk to reward on the table, but that depends on where this thing opens. If we're opening underneath that level, and the number I have again is just gonna be rough, but let's see. The number I got is somewhere around this 526, we'll call it. So I want to try to get 13 cents higher on this open. Otherwise, it is looking a little bit more to the bear side. Targets, we got some moving averages starting to come in lower, but I'm looking at 523.23 would be the next target. That would be your gap fill. If we're really going to go out on this thing and go Fibonacci's, we probably, from where this move started, we probably have closer to about 518, 519. I'm not even sure if that's around the 50%. It's probably close to the 50%. 517, somewhere in that zone would be a little bit more of a bigger retracement. Because again, this is a fairly large move. So we'll see. Qs, at least the SPY has a little bit of a retest in it. The Qs, however, they actually ended the day green, still inside that bearish engulfing candle. Not able to break out of it, no matter how hard NVDA tries. But Qs couldn't do it, and now you have a gap and go to the bear side. Again, you're below key levels on this one, 458.21. is where I'd put a pretty good target if you are bullish. But we're opening underneath. I think we got now resistance at 456.21. And then support starts to come in right below us. So 454.82. I think today has a little bit more of a bearish edge to it, but I don't think we're full on bear yet. And that could, I will leave some room for some changing of my opinion as soon as that that market opens, because we're very, very close to a very scary kind of, I think, pullback. TLT, so the bonds, they weren't loving yesterday. This is a retest gap. Again, gaps work a little bit differently on TLT, but they are showing a pullback. So that would be higher yields. Not great for the stock market in general. Matthew says, when looking at SPY versus Qs, if you day trade more tech stocks, yeah, you could. I know traders that just trade. So I always keep up SPY because I trade everything. Qs will give you a good indication though. I I personally like SPY better than Qs for me. And again, there's no wrong, as long as you have some guide, so you're just not getting lost into an individual stock. So let's see. That's a good question. We got some time, but so I'll always keep SPY down here, whether you want to keep Qs, whether you want to keep the Dow, with whatever. I want to know what the entire market is looking at, as opposed to just my individual names. If this SPY is crashing, if the Qs are crashing, and I'm trying to go long on stuff, it's just I can still do it because the individual names still might have a story behind it, but it's going to affect how I want to take my targets, how much I want to take on targets, because it's going to be a lot harder for something to run. Whereas opposed to, I'm like, hey, SPY looks like it's bouncing. This stock looks like it's bouncing. I get a bigger overall picture of the overall market as opposed to the tech. If I think if SPY is kind of coming down, yeah, Qs could still be pushing up, and a lot of times they're a little bit more correlated. Uh, but I think it's still tougher for even Qs to move if the whole market's coming down. So I do look at SPY versus Qs, but if you're trading more tech, then Qs you could run with it. Yep. All right. We had a few tickers come in. Let's see. First one I see is Pan W. Pan W. Santilla says losing in calls. Yeah, the down day would have that effect on calls. You could always sell calls against your calls, make some of that money back. You got Pan W. A little bit of a gap down again. Kind of does look like the rest of the market. You got the first spot that is going to be your. This is a retest gap. Maybe we get a full on retest on this one. You're also opening below. Let's see. I think that's the 20 EMA. Yep. So you're opening below the 20 EMA. Not great. I wouldn't expect a. I wouldn't necessarily need a full retest, but I'd look for some kind of bullish out of the gate. So 306.98. Otherwise, I think this one has a little bit more. You're looking at a pretty good double top on a daily. You're opening well below all those VPOCs and target to the downside. So target for me would be about 301.88. And then if things pick up, just under 300, so 298.82, somewhere in that extent. But that is a bearish gap and go we had yesterday. Pretty bearish close, so I would push more to the weakness. See if you get a little bounce on that one first. SMCI. SMCI has been flat for the last few days. It's gapping down 20 something dollars. I don't know if I'd have much edge here. I would actually think that I have a little bit more edge to the bull side, although I'm probably not going to play that. Just on the basis that I do have a VPOC down here, so we still have to break through that. Not much room from open to there. And then if I was just to play risk to reward, you could probably throw a stop somewhere underneath there and have a target up to what is that? 874, probably a little higher. 883. Back to 880. So you got a little bit of room if the bulls want to kind of come in and save this thing, but otherwise you've been chopping sideways. You still have this pretty dangerous candle. If we start to break out underneath it, I'm looking at like 829.14. But so far we've been in this box just chopping sideways. So the good news for bulls, you're at the bottom of it, and there might be a little bit of edge to a bullish side, at least for risk to reward purpose. But overall, it does look a little bit more bearish for right now. TSM, they're getting a little gap down as well. Still holding this uptrend, and you are opening at a little bit of retests, a little bit of support, possible retest gap from yesterday, although yeah, I think targets on this one. See if we can get any kind of bounce on this one, but 157.19. You're not really destroying bulls. I don't think we've pulled back far enough really for bulls not in this one to get excited. We got some of those moving averages coming in. If we start to break underneath 156.30, I think we got room down on this one to about 153. Get this one a tad higher on the list. Put that one up there. We'll see. Again, I would like a little bit of a bounce at open on this one. ANET, ANET. Then we got that gap and go on Qs though. That's gonna add some pressure. ANET, so we do have a gap and go, but still inside yesterday's range. We're holding above at open at least 309.71. So that's decent. Next target on this one, we'd have to break out of yesterday's range. If the market's going to look a little bit red today, to get past yesterday's candle is going to be a little challenge, I think. But we're probably looking 312.14 is my first spot to probably shave a couple shares. And then we got 315.17 would be my final target for the day. If things go crazy and we get some kind of crazy bounce, you could be looking at 319, but I think I'd be out before then. But it is a little bit of a gap and go. We'll get that one a little higher on the list too, just to see what happens. Coinbase. I don't think Bitcoin ended up doing anything yesterday, but Coinbase did. So Coinbase, nice little breakout. Again, kind of just we've now tested into some of that resistance. Fading at open, also below yesterday's VPOC. It's still inside day. I don't have a crazy edge on this one. I think if you are going bullish, you're probably looking for about the closing price, 244.45 for yesterday. If you're still in this one, I'd be looking to put my stops up. So if you're swing trading this one, the next target that I have on this is up to this 256.25. So I don't think I'd want to bail on it yet. I don't know if I have enough sentiment today for probably a day trade, unless it comes lower. So unless this thing wants to bounce into 233.87, we start retesting there. That would be a spot I wouldn't mind trying to go long. At least I think I get good risk reward into it. Otherwise, yeah, we got to get past that resistance. So not bad. We'll throw this a little higher. Yesterday did have a fun little trade on it. Throw that down here. Okay. Chewy, 16.9% short float. Okay. What was that earnings? That's a crazy earnings. That's a crazy short float. They beat by 11 cents earning per share, which is 294. Their guidance probably had to be good too. And they beat by 25 million. And they got almost a 17% short float. You got the 20, you got the 200 EMA kind of coming down on it. I'd be concerned about that, but even that, still another dollar to the high side. I'd play it as a high wave candle. I'm gonna definitely get this thing as quick as Trading View wants to allow me to get my tickers up here. Oh no, now I moved it. Yep. Oh, Chewy's on the list somewhere. But yeah, that's a heck of a gap. Heck of a gap. Good short float. Targets are concerning. 1973 is my first spot. That is a lot of consolidation we broke out of. Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta put this one higher. Let's see if it goes back to it. There it is. There's one fairly high on my list. I think this would be one to watch for potential swing. Again, you have that 200 right above you. Let's see. Any of these bag holders from back here? I don't think this gap matters enough for them to be like, cool, I got my money back. Maybe some people from this little move, so that looked like it was about to break out and run. It just didn't. So you got some big holders in here that are like grateful on this gap that we getting some cash back. Volume zone, we still have one, yeah, right here, right around this 1934 zone. The next one up takes me to 2047. That's right into that 200. And then if we could break through that, next stop becomes 2348. All right, we'll see this one. I think we could set something up on this. I would like to see a little profit taken at open, some kind of candle we could take a break above, but that looks decent. That could get squeezy. All right, which ones did I miss so far? DKS. DKS. How's my caps lock on? Dick's Sporting Good also came in with earnings better than expected by 11%, so 33 cents to the higher side for earnings per share, $77 million beat. Getting kind of, well, not at all-time highs. Decent gap, not a lot of volume last few days. The last one was really May 8th. But we are taking that one out. We did break what looked to be a key support. That was the retest. You're probably not getting those bears out of there yet. I'm gonna throw this one higher on the list too. Maybe target is up to like 220. Come on, Trading View. Go, 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 go. You can do it. This list is so long. I feel like we're getting close. I feel like we're getting there. Yeah, no. All right, we got Dick's up there too now. Whopping 70-cent ATR. Yeah, but that's gonna see, that's why I don't trade it that much. I know like Johnny uses it, I know trading. It's still valid. If there's a stock that doesn't have a catalyst that day, I mean, Chewy's been down in the dump. So yeah, if you're gonna take the average over however many days the indicator set for, at 77 cents is like not that appealing to day trade. But if it's got earnings and it's got a good stock move, it's got a good short float, we're already on the gap. We're already outside of that range. So I don't know. We got AMD for Clarice. AMD. Still inside day. It is a bear gap and go, and we are opening at a little bit of support. I don't think this one's ready to fall off the cliff yet, especially if NVIDIA does not want to. Back below some of those key volume zones, though. So to the bull side, if we get a bull run, I'm looking for about 170, 74. Maybe we retouch into yesterday's 171.67. But again, you have at least a little bit of good risk to reward down here, and this is a pretty heavy support spot on AMD. So I would be a little more bullish out of the gate on AMD if I had to go bullish on something. PLTR. Ooh, not a good gap. Not a good gap, but still hanging on to that support. Oh. So we got $20.62. Would have liked yesterday's retracement. That was a good bounce off of that lower VPOC. So that should have been the retest. Hold $20.74. We got still two more spots really for retest. $20.59, and then we really got to hold. Where's this one at? This is about $20.54. So if we start breaking under that, and especially we get a close, this 1950 zone is looking a little bit more attractive, and that's probably telling us we're not really holding that support. But right now we're down into it, so not a lot of edge yet. But it does look a lot weaker. AAP, AAP. Not a good gap on that one. Big gap down for sure. Still into some kind of support. And we were selling into this. I'd say if we get a little bit more panic selling, look for like maybe a bounce around 64.32. I don't know if the volume on this is like crazy, but that is a heck of a gap down. I'd probably be looking more for a fade on this as opposed to go short, but see if it drops a little bit first. Meta setting up as a double top. META. Uh, could be. It's got the double top element until we really break down the 264.05. That's confirmation. Still above all the moving averages. Still looks decent. I think there's still probably some bulls trying to get into this thing because that's what people do. They don't care how high it is. Just buy it. But yeah, look for support. This one I think comes down a little bit more today. Probably targets on this one to the bear side about 472.03. You got some decent resistance above you. Let me try to get to some of the other ones. Mara. Oh, we got 5 minutes left. Mara's just kind of hanging out. Yep. So look for support on Mara somewhere around $20.08. To the higher side, we got 21.24. So probably a little bit more choppy on Mara until we actually breaks. MRO. Marathon Oil, nice gap up on that one. Also watch speaking of oil, watch AAL today. I think that was moving after hours. They kind of came out yesterday saying we probably expect a little less revenue. And no investor likes to hear that. But we do have I mean, if you were buying it off that 200, this is a gift and a half. You've already hit all your targets. That's also a retrace gap as well. That's one healthy move right into that resistance. So I'd probably play this for fade. I think people probably take profits on that gap. Oh, they have a buyout. Uh-oh. Buyout might be a little different. It might not fade as much. But if I was in this thing and I'm looking for a buyout, then yeah, number one, I hit my targets, and the buyout could take a few months to a year and a half for that to go through, potentially. So I would be taking my gains now and letting the rest of the chips fall in place. But depends on what price they're getting bought out for. My guess is it's probably in that range, I would assume. MRO, you got shop. Shopify. Still struggle busing. This is a gap and go to the bear side. Still inside day from yesterday, so nothing too crazy. A lot of these gaps or most of them are inside, besides like the few that had earnings and then MRO on buyout. But shop 57.19 would be the spot you want to see this thing hold. That could be a little bit of a potential bear trap from yesterday of people going, okay, we're starting to break that support. Nice little close at the end of the day, and now you're kind of already giving that back. So I think it's still a little bit to the weaker side. But you do have one more spot, 57.14 to hold. Not a lot of bullish momentum in this thing. And still in that inside day for right now. Lulu. Lulu, yeah, still looking weak. Yep. We've gone past the spot that I'm looking to buy it, so I'm interested. This is a pretty crazy gap down though. So this is a intense gap. I think this they don't have the story right now. There's no story behind them. In fact, actually there is a story. It's just that the competition's coming in and yada yada yada. So I think there will be a spot where I do look to buy this one for the long term. I was looking at it pretty detailed yesterday, going through all the reports again, just double checking. So I still like it. They still actually make money, make revenue. Obviously, when it comes to fashion, things could change rapidly, but there's not to say that they can't shift their product if like really leggings are out. I heard somebody going like, "Yeah, no, just shifted to like the wide leg pants now. That's the new trend." How hard is it for Lulu to be like, "Cool, now we have wide leg pants"? If that's the case, like I don't think they're dead, and they do have some debt, but they could cover their debt in like a year, like 13, 14 months, something like that. So not really a bad financial situation for them. But I think the story right now is bearish. That trend seems to be heading lower. So yeah. See if there's a little bounce on open to 295.22. Closer you get to that, get you your best risk to reward, and probably look to play the trend on that one. Let's look at AAL real quick. Since we got a minute. But yep, a little bit of a gap down. Back to this $12.18 range. I think the 52-week low was down here somewhere, so $10.92. We've had quite a few days of selling, but again, the news here is more that they're not expecting really good revenue. People are kind of cutting back on travel, and we are seeing, and again, that's going to affect pretty much the entire market because now we're talking travel sector. So if people are trying to cut back on bills, the first thing they're probably doing is saying, "Hey, let's take a one less trip. Let's not fly somewhere. Let's how do we keep where we're going to?" And then you got like NVDA's who just running to the moon. So you got two different markets, two different stories behind both of them, and we'll see what happens. But that is the morning opening bell. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. I was just reading that comment. I was like, but you guys are awesome. If